Welcome to Oak Tree Stories, timeless tales rooted in India. Here you'll find gentle, thoughtful tales drawn from our rich storytelling traditions, from ancient fables and folklore to heartwarming slices of modern Indian life. Each story is carefully chosen and lovingly crafted to be age appropriate and calming, with just a touch of wonder. So come, get cozy, and let the story begin. I'm Shalini, your storyteller. Some stories begin like whispers, told and retold until they settle in someone's memory. Today's story begins in a little village in Kerala, where one morning something strange and magical happened. One morning in the village of Venmanad, the sun rose bright and bold. Golden light poured through the coconut trees, painting everything in honey. But before the birds could finish their songs, the first raindrops began to fall. "Amama, look!" cried Meera, her nose pressed to the window. "It's raining, but the sun is still shining." Amama chuckled. "Ah, then the fox must be getting married today." Meera blinked. "The fox? Who's the bride? Who's the groom?" "That's what the old folks say," said Amama, folding her towel. "When the rain falls while the sun is still out, somewhere deep in the forest, a fox is getting married." "But how do you know, Amama? Have you seen it?" Amama tapped her nose. "Not with these old eyes, but when I was a little girl, I once saw something I still don't have the words for." Meera's mouth dropped open. "What happened?" And then Amama began to tell her story. "I must have been about 7 or 8 maybe. It was a morning much like today. Sunlight glinting through the trees and rain falling like mist. The kind of weather that makes the earth smell alive, like wet leaves and secrets. I'd been sent to the backyard to gather curry leaves for lunch, but I got distracted, like always. I found a dry patch under the mango tree, crouched down and started building a palace for red ants using twigs and flower petals. That's when I heard it. Music, faint like a chenda drum far away, and laughter tinkling. I turned. Beyond the gulmohar tree, where the compound thinned into a wilder patch, bamboo grew in thick clumps, tall, green, huddled close to each other. It was a place that always felt a little apart from the rest of the world. That morning, the light shimmered strangely there, as if the rain was falling in long slanting lines only inside that patch. The air was charged and still, like the breath the earth holds just before a storm. And then, between the folds of rain and sun, I saw them. Foxes. Not just one or two, dozens, all dressed in wedding clothes. The bride wore strands of jasmine around her ears. Her eyes were lined with kohl, her fur brushed neat. The groom wore a pale gold kurta with a crisp white munda, and he kept adjusting a tiny garland that looked too big for his neck. The wedding was about to begin. I didn't breathe. I didn't blink. One of the older foxes stepped forward with a tiny silver plate that shimmered in the sunlight. Behind the bamboo, a nadaswaram began to play, soft and winding, like wind through leaves. Another fox brought a fine red and golden thread and looped it gently around the couple's paws. A younger one scattered jasmine and marigold petals into the air. Then came a hush. The groom held up a small pendant strung on a thread, a wedding thali, glinting like a sliver of sun. Just as he reached forward to tie it, crack! A twig snapped beneath my foot. That was all it took. In a heartbeat, the music stopped. The foxes froze. The bamboo leaves rustled once and then everything went silent. Everything went still. And just like that, they were gone. Every last one. Only the rain remained, pattering softly on the leaves. I waited and waited, but the light had changed. Whatever magic had been there was gone. A single jasmine garland lay on the ground, damp and fragrant. I picked it up and ran home. Later that evening, I told my cousins, my aunt and my mother. They laughed. Of course they laughed. Too many storybooks, they said. Too much imagination for one child. Even when I insisted, even when I swore I'd seen the jasmine and the silver plate, they didn't believe me. No one did. Eventually, I stopped telling the story. But I didn't stop remembering it. I packed the little garland I'd picked up into an old biscuit tin and tucked it away, along with a part of myself that still believed in wonder. Meera didn't say anything for a long moment. She sat quietly beside Amamma, eyes wide, the rain still trickling down the window pane. Then she whispered, "But Amamma, you didn't throw it away?" Amamma turned to her, surprised by the question. Then her face softened into a smile. "No," she said, "I didn't throw it away." "So, some part of you still believed," said Meera. Amamma nodded. "And you," she said quietly, "are the first person in all these years who didn't laugh at me." Meera's small fingers found hers on the table. "I believe you, Amamma," she said. And that simple sentence, spoken so earnestly, seemed to ripple through the quiet kitchen like sunlight. Amamma reached over and gave her hand a gentle squeeze. "Come," she said, "let's make tea. And maybe, just maybe, we'll go look inside that biscuit tin after all." That was The Fox's Wedding, a story rooted in a beautiful old saying from Kerala. When the sun shines and it rains at the same time, people smile and say, "Kurukande Kalyanam." Somewhere a fox is getting married. And here's something curious. In other parts of the world, people say the same thing but with different animals. In Japan, it's a fox. In Korea, a tiger. In Africa, a monkey. And in France, a wolf. Isn't it magical how the weather brings such stories to life? This story began with a simple saying, but it became something more. A story about wonder, about being believed, and about the little ways in which we carry magic through the years. Sometimes grown-ups forget that the children see the world differently. And sometimes children tell the truth, but no one listens, simply because they're small. So when someone does believe them, it can mean everything. And that too is a kind of healing. If you enjoyed this tale, you can find more at www.oaktreebooks.in/Oak Tree Stories, where your support helps us keep bringing India's storytelling traditions to life. And here's something special. If this story inspired you, send us your artwork. We'd love to feature it in a future episode and on our social media pages. Grown-ups, follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Oak Tree Stories for updates, behind-the-scenes peeks, and more heart-filled storytelling. Until next time, dear listener, may you remember, some stories quietly fade unless someone somewhere believes they were true.